History says monks belong in caves, eyes closed to the world. In the 14th century, one Indian ascetic broke that rule completely. Two captured officers were forced to abandon their own faith, and the man who refused to accept that would go on to change the fate of an entire subcontinent. In the 14th century, in a small town called Ekashila, a Vedic scholar named Mayana raised sons who would become some of the most learned men in India. One of them, Madhava, was already known across the Deccan as a brilliant mind before he turned 25. Madhava didn't stay a private scholar for long. He rose to serve as a minister and advisor to the kingdom of Kampili, a small but proud Deccan power standing in the path of an empire far larger than itself, the Delhi Sultanate. It wasn't enough. Delhi's armies swept south and Kampili fell. Among those captured were two of its officers, brothers named Harihara and Buka, marched 1,000 miles north in chains to the Sultan's own capital. In Delhi, Harihara and Buka were made to give up the faith they'd been raised in. Tradition says it wasn't cruelty alone behind it. The Sultan needed men who knew the Deccan to help him govern it, and conversion was the price of that trust. So the Sultan sent them back south, not as prisoners this time, but as governors, men who would rule the Deccan on Delhi's behalf, using the very loyalty of their old homeland against it. That plan needed one thing it never got: for Harihara and Buka to actually forget who they'd been. Tradition holds that Madhava, the scholar who had survived Kampili's fall, met the brothers himself, and instead of offering them comfort, he offered them a purpose. According to the tradition, Madhava counseled the brothers back to their old faith and their old loyalty, and urged them towards something far bigger than governing a province for someone else, building a kingdom of their own that Delhi could not reach. In 1336, on the banks of the Tungabhadra river, that kingdom was founded, Vijayanagara, literally the city of victory. It grew into one of the largest and longest-lasting empires South India ever produced, and Madhava served as one of its guiding ministers through its rise. Running an empire took more than resolve. It took money. Legend says Madhava found an unlikely source: Sri Vidya rituals to the Divine Mother that supposedly filled the new treasury with gold overnight. Miracle or shrewd economics, the effect was the same: a kingdom wealthy enough to survive its own founding. Then, at the height of his influence, Madhava did something almost no minister in his position ever does. He walked away from it. He took vows of renunciation under his guru, Vidyaranya, and was given a new name, Vidyaranya. He didn't retire to obscurity. Vidyaranya went on to become the 12th Jagadguru of the Sringeri Sharada Peetham, one of the 4 great monastic seats founded centuries earlier by Adi Shankara himself to guard and teach Advaita Vedanta. As a philosopher, his masterwork became the Panchadasi, 15 chapters built entirely around one deceptively simple question. Once you set aside your name, your job, and every worry attached to them, who is actually left? He compared the mind to a dark theater. Your thoughts and daily dramas are only the movie playing on the screen. But it's the projector's light that makes any of it visible at all, and that light keeps shining long after the movie ends. He also wrote the Sarvadarshanasangraha, a survey of every major school of Indian philosophy then known: materialists, Buddhists, Jains, rival theistic schools, laid out fairly one after another before arguing for Advaita as the highest of them all. He wasn't the only scholar in that household. His brother Sayana spent his own life writing commentaries on all 4 Vedas, a body of work so complete that, centuries later, it's still one of the first places students turn to understand the Vedic texts at all. The empire had helped bring into being outlived him by more than 2 centuries. And for much of that time, it stood as one of the last great Hindu powers of the South, its wealth and temples the stuff of legend among travelers who visited its capital. Vidyaranya died at Sringeri, an old man who had already lived two entire careers, one that built a kingdom and one that helped preserve a philosophy, and somehow found time to do both without either one taking less than everything he had. He proved that real detachment was never about running from the world. It was about seeing clearly enough to serve it without losing yourself in it. If this story moved you, hit like, subscribe, and join us for more tales from Kathavana, stories that outlive time.